drugs and, other stupid things, violent offenders going into prison systems being overcrowded, things like that. I think if we modify where our tax money is being spent, I think all of these issues need a complete overhaul of America's economy, where taxes are being wasted. I mean, these all tie into each other. You can't fix one of them without fixing another one, or you can't fix one of them without having a problem with another one. You've got to fix them all together.
And like you said about capitalism, I mean, really your idea is that for the upper middle class to provide a meal for somebody who is poor. But a politician would say, well, that's socialism. And, well, we don't want that, do we, because we're capitalists. Right?
Right.
We're going to pout.
Yep. Socialists are going to pout everywhere.
I heard that people in jail that have legitimately done something wrong get to eat a meal. There's kids on the street that don't get to eat. That kind of irks me a little bit too.
The prison systems are privatized.
No, but like, Ozzy could be a rapist and eating a meal at least once a day, and I could be a little kid on the street who has done nothing wrong, was just born into the wrong family and starving.
So what are you saying? Just stop feeding prisoners?
I don't know, it sounds
Not
like...
necessarily, but I mean, just the overall concept, it just sounds kind of wrong to me.
See, I want to say this, but I don't think it's the right term, but I think it's misplaced ethics. Because, I mean, like you said, you have the dilemma of a starving child on the street, but, I mean, you're also responsible for those people that you incarcerate.
And I understand that, but I mean, but if you also think about it, just kind of like, it's just little kids should eat.
Are you going to find all the little kids and feed them a meal or something?
Santa does.
What?
Santa.
Santa gives coal to all the poor kids.
I don't know.
Sorry, I had to say it.
On the subject of Christianity,
Right.
Santa. I mean, I don't.
And Jesus, they got along together.
Just make something with standards. Okay.
I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do?
I also think, at least in America, the standards of the hungry are still pretty high. Kind of like how the Americans, if they don't have jobs, but they're not, like they need a job, but they're not going to work, scrubbing toilets as a janitor. You know what I mean?
It's not the American dream, Cat.
Well, I'm just saying, I feel like that same concept could be applied to food. But then again, yeah, McDonald's is pretty decent, and it's cheap.
Ugh.
No, but do you know what? No, but do you know what I mean? Like,
No. You can buy vegetables. You can buy cheap stuff at,
for like
frozen
a nickel.
vegetables.
You can buy something for a nickel. No, you can buy a head of lettuce for 88 cents.
There you go.
Or beans and rice. You can buy a bag of rice for $1. Beans for $1. How come people don't do that?
What do we want? It goes back to...
Standards?
No, it goes back to the function of food now. It goes like... We don't eat, like I said, we don't eat it because we want energy, or we eat it because it's pleasurable. We don't want to eat horrible food. Or tasteless
Beans
food.
and rice is not horrible. It's good.
Yeah, it's good for like maybe a couple days, but eat it for 2 weeks straight, see what happens.
So do you think that food is too marketable?
It's possible. Much like holidays. I think it's very possible. I mean, when you talk about economy and you talk about spending money and all that, well, I mean, we have our material possessions, but the food business is making a killing.
What do you think about that?
Food being too marketable?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, let's look at it this way. We see commercials of food all the time, and I mean, it looks great on TV, but when you get there, it's not going to look like that, but
Yeah,
we
because
still eat it.
they pay people to paint shit.
Yeah, but we still eat it. We still think it's going to be good. Or, say for example, you go to an expensive steakhouse and you drop, $150 on a single plate.
My parents, the most expensive restaurant around, like there's one in California or whatever, and it's $2,500 a plate, and it's supposed to be the best food in the whole entire world. And my dad was like, I was so close to doing it just to try it. Like that kind of, like, that makes me sick. You know what I mean? Like people just waste money just to try something.
It's their money.
Yeah, but think of the little kid in Africa with the bloated belly.
Sure, your parents can think about it while they're eating their $200 plate of steak. I mean, you can't just tell a nation of people who are making money for themselves that they shouldn't be spending it where they want to.
True. But so then I think it goes back to instilling different ethics in us or
I
different
think
morals.
that's exactly where I was going with that too.
Where?
Well, you can't do it in policies. I mean,
What happened to the thing it's better to give than receive? What happened to that saying growing up? You know, like at Christmas time it's better to give someone something than receive. That's why, honestly, that's why I donate gifts to the kids. And that's why Christmas is about kids, not adults. Because it's better to give to little kids that don't know any better than receive. What happened to that concept? That'd be a brilliant concept.
it died with NSYNC.
I think it died with capitalism.
You just take capitalism.
No, I really do. Like, it's not about giving and receiving, it's about making and accruing. It's about supply and demand.
Okay,
it's
well
about,
then, not every nation has capitalism. Right?
not every nation, but most developed nations have corporations within them.
I'm talking about China and its companies.
China is communist, but they also have McDonald's. They're also participating. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They're also participating in the world market, you know, which
Why are there so many
Which
starving?
that implies a certain amount of self-interest too.
Why is there so many starving kids in China? Are there so many starving kids in China?
I'm sure there are starving kids anywhere, but I don't know how many are in China.
I know there's a shit ton in North Korea
They're unhappy people.
and India. You know, we saw a statistic, and it was more than I want to say more. It was about 75 of in the world percent of like hunger was all in the Asia countries. It's like China, India, Russia. Like it's bad. That's a lot of people.
And those are largely communist
Not just
economies.
that. It's overpopulation. Like India. Think of India. And the
What are you going to
slums
do about
and-
overpopulation?
I don't know.
China does something like that.
China
know,
does something
but
that's way inhumane.
If you think about it, if you were to control the population, I think that'd make it so much easier to deal with hunger.
How are you going to control the population?
Well, in America you can't do anything because you have the free will to have as many kids as you want.
It's been argued that prison is a form of population control here in America.
How?
Because they can't have kids in prison.
No. There's nurseries in women's prison for the people that are pregnant,
Well, I'm
but
sure.
they come in pregnant.
No, it's the prison system is sometimes, or like some people view it as a form of oppression over minority races, and like population control of minority races because there's a large amount of like African American and Hispanics within the prison system, largely more than there are like Anglo Americans or Caucasians. I mean, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna pen up all the people that you don't want to eat?
No, well, I mean, okay, I just think about India. The reason there's so many kids, and it's been like this since technology isn't that great in the slums, you have more kids because there are not many are going to survive. And the more you have, the more chance there are that you're going to provide for the family. Even America did that whenever things were not that great. Like you would have lots of kids because, say, half the kids weren't going to make it to the age 2. And the more kids you had, the more they could provide for the family, or so said. So nothing's going to happen in India or the countries until they get better technology, and that's not so, or better medical.
I know it's kind of sick, but you were talking about how kids in India like don't have a high chance of like making it past childhood or whatever, or however you put it. Couldn't hunger then be seen as a form of population control? Imagine if you
It's a
started.
shitty job in India, though.
Imagine if India had the resources to support, you know, all of its people as it is now. Just pretend that everybody was well fed.
Right.
Now you'd have people who are still having the same amount of babies that they were before, but now all of these babies can eat.
Eat.
And now you're going to have an even bigger problem with overpopulation.
I hate to be the horse, but I mean now it goes back to capitalism again, right?
Right?
Yeah. Let's just slam this thing, because crap, I don't remember what I was going with that now.